With the foraging update right around the corner, you're probably scrambling to get investments and things together in preparation for the update. Fear not, I'm here to tell you exactly what you need to prepare yourself for this mid-year update. While the obvious choices for investment will be all the wood types, seeing the trailers for the updates already dropped with promises of an alpha later this week, people are rushing to get investments in as soon as possible. There are definitely some extra things you might want to consider investing in. For those of us who refuse to forage until the update comes around, you'll definitely need to invest in an ocelot pet. Legendary, of course. Considering what we've seen from the trailer, there's definitely going to be at least 2 new armor sets. Similar to what we currently have with mining and farming. This will most likely be locked by your foraging level. On topic with mining, calling all Iron Man players. Hit the end, you're gonna need to start getting your tree caps ready. With coal upcoming, it'll be the perfect time to start grinding out some perfect citrine crystals, as well as grabbing a monkey pet to have handy. Don't forget to hit up the local birch forest near you, you're gonna need it for your foraging sacks on top of your personal compactors. One of the main points of the foraging trailer that was shown to us was the new hunting skill we're going to have. Do I hear skill average 70, anyone? Hunting is going to be an active skill, and I think it's safe to assume that it will be similar to how the trapper quests work. With the introduction of a new skill requires new items. Something to note is every time we see the player in the trailer try and catch an aquatic animal, they shoot a net made out of cobwebs and wool. I have a slight hunch that this might be made out of cobwebs and enchanted wool, which will finally give a use to enchanted wool, only time will tell. Looking at the actual trailer for foraging, there are several things to point out. 2 new axes and 2 new armor sets can be seen throughout the entire trailer, which we were briefly already made aware of from past forum posts regarding the foraging update. One axe, which is the Figstone axe. I believe it is the axe that we see throughout the trailer. We already knew this, but both Tree Cap and Jungle Axe are definitely getting a rework. We can already see that throughout the trailer. We can see how they have a sweep stat on the axe, which automatically gives it the ability to be thrown to chop logs at hard to get places. One of the main issues currently with the park is players are way too competitive and are often cutting each other off and racing to get more logs. Part of the reason foraging currently sucks, actually. However, the admins have seen this and implemented a function called tree gifts. We now have a visual representation of this when chopping a tree. The wood you chop going into one position where once it finishes, turns into a sparkly leaf bush. We don't actively see in the trailer what these drop. However, this is most likely to encourage players to work together. With the new island comes the new collections. One of those collections is going to be the new berry collection. Throughout the islands, berry bushes are going to be scattered around for the player to collect, presumably for new items to do with the hunting skill. Although not much can be said in this regard, as it's only mentioned briefly in past forum posts, and isn't seen to be doing much in the trailer. From cute and cuddly, we now have pandas and axolotls. I'm not biased, but it's amazing to see the new animals. We're even shown a player feeding pandas within the trailer, with possibly a new bamboo collection. Now for our much requested video break. Have you seen the fairy soul within the trailer yet? Honestly, sitting in a VC watching a 2-minute trailer frame by frame is probably not the best way to spend my time. Now that you know it exists, comment down below if you see it. I'll show at the end of the video. Not much to note when running through Galatea. We can briefly see Campfire Ryan and his Crusader now sitting by a Soulfire campfire, possibly alluding to an upgrade to the Talisman or a new Soulfire version of the Talisman. This might help with true fire damage. I've heard a lot of people saying that with this new update the attribute is going to be voided, which just isn't true. However, what is happening is that the attributes on the armor are going to be grayed out until the player migrates them to the new system. While grayed out, they don't give their normal buffs, so migrating them to the new system will be fairly important. We were shown the DOI last year during the first foraging update thread. Aside from it being a year since it was last shown, it's safe to assume it's still the same or similar from before. Talking about last year's forum post, we were told that we'd be getting god temples which give global buffs based on the players worshipping said god. Ever noticed the beacon beam within the trailer? Well, that's probably got something to do with the god temples. And hey, I don't think I'd say no to free buffs. Fusion Machine. There's honestly not much we know about the Fusion Machine, aside from what we were told during the hunting design thread last year. Basically, we're going to be able to splice the DNA of monsters and animals in Skyblock. Then take that to the Fusion Machine to combine them together to make attribute shards, which I think makes as much sense as making a shard made out of animal DNA. Now that the update is confirmed and upcoming, the main tasks on the island are definitely going to be the hunting skill, as well as, you guessed it, another hot M tree. Yay. As if I didn't go crazy the first time with the mining update. While I think having a hot M tree for foraging is great, I have zero idea what type of skills or abilities they're going to give us, which is kind of part of the fun. On top of the fact that we're also getting Jacob contests for foraging, but don't stress, you won't be going up against other players. I think Hypixel learned that from the Netherwar issue. This content will be completely personal and only based on how well you, the player, perform. Didn't think I'd end the video without showing you the fairy soul, did you? Well, if you look super closely in this 4-second clip, you can briefly see the bluish purple hues of a fairy soul sitting in the dragon's mouth.